Oh, so you know me? The man in the chair laughed softly, but he did not seem surprised. They could see now that he was a Chinese man, all in white, wearing what looked like a rub, or a gone. It was impossible to tell his age. His face was lined, his body very thin. "You're Elliot Wu!" The man seemed delighted. He laughed again, a high, thin sound, and nodded his head. "Very good, RB." "Wait a minute," Levine said. "How do you know that?" "It was on the computer files," RB said. "Elliot Wu was the head of Site B." "Site B?" Levine said. "You were the head of Site B?" "This is the man who's responsible for this. Isn't that right, Elliot?" "Just a minute here. The man who did all the original genetic work at InGen was named Wu, but they say he's dead." "My brother," Wu said. "We worked together. Henry died 5 years ago in the unfortunate accident." Levine squinted. "And you..." "I carried on." Henry was the real genius. I merely helped. But I couldn't let his wonderful work die. And of course, there was the challenge. "You mean the contamination?" Malcolm said. "Exactly. It was merely a chance event in the beginning. We were raising young animals in our laboratory, keeping them in pens outside. And of course, there were no parents to feed them. We had to do it ourselves. Feeding the little herbivores was not a problem. We used goat's milk. It was less allergenic of all the milks, you know. Hundreds of gallons of goat's milk. We had whole herds of goats here at one time. But of course, the carnivores had other requirements. So to feed them, we brought a protein extract that was specially made for us. That was the problem." "What was it made of?" Malcolm said. "Cows or sheep?" "Sadly," Wu said, "it was sheep. Ground up sheep." "Why?" Levine said, not following. "Prions," Malcolm said. Sitting in the chair, Wu nodded his head slowly. "Yes, that's what they are called now." "Was it scrapey?" "No, we were never able to determine for certain what it was. And of course it was extremely difficult to work on. At one point, we had turned most of the lab over to protein extraction, just to understand what we were up against." "Protein extraction?" Levine said. "It's not your field, Dr. Levine," Wu said. "But there are 3 basic kinds of pathogens, 3 levels. The first is the living organisms that causes disease. That includes bacteria, like pneumococcus, which causes pneumonia, or plasmodium, which causes malaria, or amoebae, which causes dysentery. These are all living organisms in their own right." One step down is a virus. A virus is not technically alive. It's just nucleic acid surrounded by a protein coat. Yet if it invades a cell, it can take over the cell and causes disease. And a step below that is a prion, which is just a naked protein fragment. A prion can't even invade a cell. It has to be passively taken into the body. Prions are very poorly understood, but they cause scrapie, a disease of sheep, and mad cow disease, and kuru, a brain disease in human beings. Cannibals, actually. We had a prion disease we called X, Disease X, or DX for short. And it got into our carnivore population from a single batch of sheep extract. I have worked for years to be rid of it. "And what happened?" Levine said. "For 3 years, I thought I had succeeded. The sick animals had all died. The remaining animals were flourishing. The island was in reasonable balance." "And what changed?" Malcolm said. "Compies," Wu said with a little shrug. "The compies changed their behavior about 3 years ago. I don't know why. But they began to eat fecal material from the larger animals. And apparently, there was a single animal that still carried the prion. Perhaps a silent carrier. But the protein is extracted in the stools, and so the compies became infected. The compies, of course, are primarily scavengers. which means they eat carrion, dead animals. In doing so, they spread the protein over the carrion. Any later, scavengers also became infected. Eventually, all my raptors became infected, and raptors attack healthy animals not always successfully, but one bite, and the animal becomes infected. And so, bit by bit, the infection spread. It does not seem to have distinct behavioral effects, but they die early. The animals never reach maturity. So you're saying all the animals are infected? Malcolm said. Sadly, yes, Wu said. Levine was visibly anxious. What about people? Does the disease affect people? Sometimes, Wu said, nodding slowly. It causes an encephalitis, which may or may not be severe. But to become infected, you must be bitten or eat the flesh of an infected animal. Those cases on the mainland, those are all people who have eaten carcasses that washed onto the beach. I cannot imagine doing it myself. But the behavior of people never fails to surprise me. No one spoke. They waited while his bony hand reached out, took a glass of water, and sipped it. Wu smiled. As you see, my time is short. I have chosen to stay here. I have been the caretaker of this island for so long, I do not know where else I will go. You know they will eventually come to destroy the island. Wu shrugged. Perhaps quite soon. He shifted in his chair. But I have tried to help you as best I could. I helped Arby here connect to the radio network, so you'll be able to see. I helped him. I thought there was something funny about that. Wu nodded slowly. Of course. I did not think I could fool you. But now... Tide, he said, lifted his head.
The what?
The tide. You want to hurry to make the tide. Otherwise, you cannot get through the cave. You should go now. They all hesitated, standing there, uncomfortable. Wu pointed a long, thin, wavering finger. Go, he said. Sarah Harding drove the Explorer along the edge of the river. Kelly was sitting beside her in the front seat. They saw the boathouse up ahead.
So it was the graphics that gave you the clue, Kelly? I just suddenly realized it didn't matter what was actually on the screen. What mattered was there was a lot of data being manipulated, millions of pixels spinning there, and that meant there had to be a cable. And if there was a cable, there must be a space for it. And enough space that workmen can repair it. All of that. So you looked under the desk? Yes. That's very good. I think these people owe you their lives. Not really. All your life, other people will try to take your accomplishments away from you. Don't you take it away from yourself.
Kelly was silent. Up ahead, they saw the boathouse.
Everybody out.